We will call to order the regular board meeting of the Board of Election Commissioners for the City of Chicago. Good morning. My name is Maricel Hernandez. I'm the chair. And with me today is Commissioner June Brown.
Good morning.
And Commissioner William Cressy.
Good morning.
Next item on the agenda is the consideration of the agenda. Are there any proposed changes? If not, we will proceed with the approval of the regular board meeting minutes of March 22nd, 2022. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Is there a second?
Second by Commissioner Cressy.
Properly moved.
Excuse me, may I just, the March 22nd board meeting was actually moved up to March 21st. That was a Scribner error, putting March 22nd as the approved.
Okay, so the motion as amended is to approve the March 21st regular board meeting minutes. Is that acceptable to the board members?
Acceptable.
Yes,
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the Executive Director's Report. Mr. Holliday.
Morning, Madam Chair and fellow commissioners. March 24th, the Chicago Board of Election, we hosted the spring conference of the AECOI, the Association of Election Officials of Illinois. We had a great time hosting, and I want to thank Audra Lewicki for organizing the event. March 25th, I attended the reappointment and swearing in of Commissioner Cressy. Again, congratulations, Commissioner Cressy. Our mail canvas was dropped ahead of the deadline, and then of the canvas we received 88,686 return pieces of mail. 83,179 has been scanned and ready to be mailed a second notice. On Saturday, April 23rd, I'll be speaking along with other speakers from Live Free Illinois, Level Up and Vote on voter registration, engagement, and the importance of our vote, sponsored by Cole, Live Free Illinois, St. Edmunds Episcopal Church, Harold Washington Legacy Committee, Chicago Votes, the Bronze Com, and 10 times 10 to Win Illinois. We've been looking into sites for election day voting. We've contacted the Wintrust Arena, waiting for word from them. Also, the IBEW Union Hall at 2722 South King Drive, which is very interested in us hosting and having that as a election day voting site. The Wintrust, if they can't host the election, they are very happy to have a drop box there. Wrigley Field has consent in having a drop box. United Center, if we can't do voting there, they will host a drop box. Guaranteed Rate Field mentioned that their site or their parking is not available for use. There were two other locations. The Forum is closed, and the Plumbers Union Hall, 600 West Washington, they stated that it hasn't been used in a while, and they wouldn't recommend at this time for us using it for election day. The staff has started the new security mentor session of new lessons of security procedures for internet use, spam, and phishing emails. I completed my session on last Friday. That ends my report, Madam Chair.
Okay, so Charles, how many mailings did we send out in total for the canvas originally?
Well, we sent out the 1.6 million of total registered voters that we have.
Okay.
On a regular, when we do the mail canvas, we normally get about 100 to 120,000 back. But we've already received the 88 back, so almost 89,000. So there's a few a little more to come, but hopefully this could be the end. But whatever comes back will be processed, and the second notice is mailed. And if they move, it will be forwarded to the new address where they can put their new address and send it back if they live in the city or if they move to the suburbs. If they still have a 14 address, it will be forwarded there.
Okay. Okay, that sounds good. Thank you. Do any commissioners have any questions? Okay, if not,
Questions?
then we'll proceed with the Assistant Executive Director's report. Mrs. Farah?
Good morning, Madam Chair, and good morning, Commissioners. Our vote by mail application went live on March 30th. Voters may apply to receive a vote by mail ballot online or may submit an application to the office. As of today, the vote by mail department has processed a total of 15,127 vote by mail applications. The Community Services Department is fully staffed with community language representatives, including Spanish, Chinese, and Hindi. We also have a long-respected Polish community representative, Monica Gulushka. The Judges Department, as of yesterday, has 4,813 election judges assigned and 1,320 pending election coordinators. Based on previous primary elections, these numbers are on the right track. At the warehouse, ES&S, along with board staff, have completed the smart card upgrade on the e-poll books. And ES&S and board staff, weekly meetings will start this week. And finally, I will be attending a seminar hosted by Election Center. This seminar will focus on strategic planning and budgeting and will take place in Houston, Texas, the weekend of April 23rd. And that is all I have.
Okay, thank you. And if there are no questions, I will now hear from Max Weber. Max, how are you?
Good morning, Chairwoman. Doing very well. Thank you. Just a few updates to support our executive director and assistant director, what they just said. Vote by mail has been going successful so far. We did a big media push on the 30th when it went live. We got 15 different news stories with our links. So that was nice to see. Finally, a slow news day maybe in Chicago. As Charles mentioned, we are working on the second notice as a follow-up to the canvas, as well as our household mailing, which will be the next mailing to voters, to all registered voters. That includes their polling place information as well as early voting information. We are also putting together our press materials and social media ahead of early voting to get the word out about the locations, times, and drop boxes. And then something a little fun, but I am taping our next podcast with Adam Lasker today on a primer on the Chicago Electoral Board. So that'll be out later this week. So I've asked Adam to give me a Schoolhouse Rock style brief overview because I need it probably more than anybody else. But we will be working on that, and that will be out by the end of this week.
Great.
And that is it from communications.
Okay, I'm just thinking, I'm glad you did the big media push for the vote by mail. But I don't know if there's other ways to kind of feed the media with updated information. These are the number of applications. I don't know, something so that we can keep that going and out there in the media and hopefully get a record number of vote by mail applications. Okay.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Yes, it looks like I'll be doing soon we'll be doing daily updates on vote by mail and early voting numbers for reporters, as they're already starting to ask those questions. So
Right.
Beginning in the habit very shortly.
Good. Thank you so much. If there are no further questions, I will go on to old business. The infrastructure projects and changes in election administration, voting equipment, and electronic poll books. Do we have any updates on that? Mr. Holliday?
None other than what the assistant director gave already, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Legislation, Mr. Lasker?
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair and Commissioners. The legislative session did end last week, and there was no election omnibus bill The only real election-related bill that has passed deals with accessible voters with disabilities being able to access the electronic ballot marking system. For us, that's through our UOCAVA system. This is something where I, yet again, will tip my hat to this Board of Election Commissioners for leading the way. We're already using this system. We've opened up our UOCAVA system to voters with disabilities through the Americans with Disabilities Act. It's an existing system that we had. Americans with Disabilities, the ADA says that we should make those systems available to people with disabilities. So we took the initiative to start that. Now this state legislation is requiring the State Board of Elections to facilitate a program statewide for any election authorities that don't already have their own program. I did ask that the legislation include the ability to continue using an existing program, and so we can, and we are. We've already been having meetings with Dominion to make sure that that's going to be running smoothly for this upcoming election cycle. But that's the end of my legislative report, because that was the end of the legislative session and no other election bills. So
When do they resume?
I think it's, I was just looking, they don't have any future schedules listed on their website.
Hmm.
I think that towards the end of summer, they go back into session, perhaps August or September, but I honestly at this point don't know. It's not listed on their website.
So no chance of anything before the June election?
No, that
Okay.
we're done now. Yes, for June, for sure.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now we'll proceed to new business, and the first item on the agenda is a professional services agreement with SKU Corporation for various software and computer system enhancements. Mr. Lasker?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. This is a professional service agreement that actually touches on several of the departments throughout the board. SKU Corporation is headed by Jong Lee, a longtime relationship with the board. That's the entity, the person who's developed the board's registration system. And so he's going to be doing several, there's nine new projects that involve computer system enhancements, redistricting matters, stuff related to the permanent roster, vote by mail help desk developments, employee manuals for early voting, various things like that. So this is a professional services agreement that would have a total value with all their flat rate fees for each of the individual projects, and that would all add up to $180,000. This is a sole source PSA as approved by the procurement officer.
Okay. Are there any questions?
Adam, just for the record, we have had very good service with regard to them in the past, correct?
I'm just trying to silence my phone here, which I don't do very often. Sorry about that. Yes, Jong Lee and his team, they work on site. They respond to issues immediately. They're pleasant to work with, and it sounds to me like all the staff members that deal with them directly have very good experiences, and we have very good results in the products that they create for the board.
Okay, thank you. If there are no further questions, is there a motion to approve a sole source professional services agreement with SKU Corporation for several new development projects at various flat rate fees with total compensation not to exceed $180,000 over the term of the agreement, which begins on April 12, 2022, inclusive of any authorized services prior thereto and concluding on October 31st, 2023.
So moved by Commissioner Cressy.
Seconded by seconded by Commissioner Brown.
Okay, properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. The next item is the ratification of a short-term property use agreement with 108 North State Street, also known as, or formerly known as Block 37.
I can start with that, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Thank you. So they took us a little bit by surprise. This is where we have election judge training historically. We have election day staging for standby judges and so forth. I say they took us by surprise a little bit because the term of this lease won't actually start until May 1st, but they contacted us and wanted us to sign it ahead of time so that they could rely on that and start preparing the space for our needs. So we haven't actually taken occupancy yet. We won't until May 1st. But Mr. Holliday has signed the agreement so that they can start beginning the preparation work over at Block 37. We now request the board ratify that and formally execute the lease agreement. Occupancy would be May 1st through November 13th of this year. We did ask, I should say Audra Lewicki asked for Block 37 if we could have an agreement that would span the next several election cycles, but they would prefer to do it one cycle at a time because we're short-term tenants. So that's what this lease would be.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to ratify the execution of a short-term lease agreement with 108 North State Street for occupancy during the period of May 1st, 2022 through November 13, 2022, with a one-time base rental fee of $100,000?
Commissioner Brown so moves.
Seconded by Commissioner Cressy.
Okay, properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is a contract with RFP for redistricting services to Larry Hansen LLC. A contract award from the RFP for redistricting services to Larry Hansen LLC. Who can speak to this?
I think Ms. Walls, as this was an RFP, she's prepared to.
I'll speak to that. Good morning, Madam Chair and fellow
Good morning.
commissioners. This is an ask to approve entering in a contract with Larry Hansen LLC or LHLLC for redistricting services for 2022. Some background here. LHLLC was awarded a contract to begin working on the redistricting project for the board in September 2021. As a result, the first phase of this project has been completed. LHLLC has put forth a planned and thoughtful approach to create new district geographies, leveraging our existing ArcGIS technology. LHLLC's methodologies and project management practices has provided results that our information technology department and executive management team are very pleased with. The knowledge transfer and training of our team has also been exceptional. LHLLC is planning to use the same proven methodology developed in the first phase to complete this project. The RFP was issued by myself on Thursday, March 3rd, 2022. A pre-proposal meeting was held on March 10th, 2022, and the proposals were due on March 23rd, 2022, no later than 10 a.m. As a result of the procurement solicitation, I received 3 proposals for these services. However, only one was responsive. The other 2 were late. They were received after the deadline of 10 a.m. on March 23rd, 2022, thereby rendering both of those proposals non-responsive. Even though those other proposals were deemed non-responsive, it should be duly noted that not only has LHLLC's proposal is it responsive, but it's also responsible. LHLLC's proposals met all our requirements detailed in the scope of work and provided information that clearly demonstrated they are capable in all respects to perform the contract's requirements. LHLLC's proposal was also, their cost proposal was also very fair and reasonable. Al Chase is on the line if there's any questions with regard to the more detailed scope of service. But this recommendation comes with the full support of the evaluation team, the executive director, and the assistant executive director. The term of this project will begin April 13th, 2022 and expire December 31st, 2022. And the contract award is not to exceed $200,000. Any questions for me?
Is that April 13th or May 1st?
Right.
I believe it's Adam, I'm not sure. I thought it was April 13th, beginning tomorrow.
Yes, and Ms. Walls, what has been our experience with them to date?
I would ask Al Chase if he's on the line. I think he could give you a better explanation since he's been working with him directly. Is he on the line?
I'm online. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
we can. Thank you.
Okay, I've done redistricting for the board. This is the third time. My prior experience before coming to the board was ES&S, and I must have been done 20 of them. The long and the short of it is, following Opal's guidance, we did an extensive search and found the perfect person to do this. He's absolutely exceeded my outrageously high expectations. The guy's smart, government experience, master's degree in GIS. We just got really lucky, and a lot of that goes to Opal for directing me on how to conduct a good search initially. We had a little hiccup in that city council didn't approve our ward maps. So we have that problem. We've got a pending little issue with the judicial, but we'll be well versed for that. And of course, we've got a new district in the police district. So I can't say enough, frankly, and I'm not one to pat people on the back.
That's true, Al. All right, that comes highly recommended. Thank you, Al.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I was asked about the start date of the contract. It can be or tomorrow, or it can be May 1st, whatever staff desires or needs. So let's just have the motion. Al, I don't know, Al, can we hear from you when I think one issue that was in place is his prior contract. Was that supposed to run through the end of this month?
If you're asking me, I would terminate that contract effective tomorrow. I would start on the 13th, and then when we're completely done, we terminate what's left on the contract, the new one.
Well, I don't know if that can be done because we, there might be funds still in that contract for payment.
So Madam Chair, I would recommend that he finish out the current contract, and then once the funds are exhausted from that, then start the other.
Okay, so then that means May 1st. Okay.
Well, the funds will be exhausted, I think, before May 1st.
Well,
I think so.
I think we're okay with May 1st. Is there a motion to approve a contract award to Larry Hansen LLC as the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for the RFP for redistricting services at a total cost of $200,000 to be paid in monthly installments throughout the term of the agreement from May 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2022?
So moved by Commissioner Cressy.
seconded by Commissioner Brown.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is an RFP for temping staff services for Protiviti Government Services. Who will speak on this?
I will speak on that again, Madam Chair. This also was an RFP, and this is for temporary warehouse staffing services for the 2022 and 2023 elections. The recommendation is to enter into a contract with Robert Half Government for our warehouse location. Just a little background here again. An RFP went out for 2 different staffing services this time. We wanted to separate the warehouse with, from the central office, we found that companies could not service both adequately. So we made a decision to separate and issue two different RFPs. So this is the first one for, again, warehouse staffing services. The warehouse is in need of temporary staffing services for the upcoming 2022 and 2023 elections to assist with various tasks during our election cycle. These tasks consist of lifting and moving heavy loads, assisting with packing, shipping and receiving, unloading voting equipment, pulling materials, testing and inventory materials, etc. RHG provided these same services to the warehouse during our November 2020 election cycle. And although we were in the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, there were a lot of uncertainties and challenges. RHG stepped up and performed a commendable job. Keith Carter and Derek Hurd are on the phone, on the call, rather, if you have further questions regarding the scope of services. The recommendation here is that I issued an RFP on Thursday, March 3rd. A pre-proposal meeting was held on Friday, March 11th at our warehouse, where we invited all interested vendors and contractors to come out and actually go through what the training and what was necessary. The staff at the warehouse did an excellent job, in my opinion, of detailing and letting the companies know exactly what the scope of services would involve. And it was a hands-on kind of session that we held there. As a result, the proposals were due on March 18th, no later than 10 a.m., and we received 3. The proposals were reviewed, evaluated, scored, and ranked by our evaluation team, and RHG's proposal was the highest ranked proposal of the 3 submitted. They also had a very fair cost proposal submitted as well. The term of this contract will begin tomorrow, April 13th, and expire June 30th, 2023. The contract award not to exceed amount is $1.8 million. I verified that amount with our finance director, Kimberly Carrillo Walker, and she has approved that amount for this contract. Okay. Any questions?
No, we have, I know we have used Robert Half before, and I think we have been pretty satisfied with their work for us. If there are no further questions, is there a motion to approve a contract with Protiviti Government Services through their staffing division, Robert Half Government, for temporary staffing support for the 2022 and 2023 elections at the board's warehouse location, with a contract term of April 13, 2022 through June 30th, 2023, and with 3 one-year options to renew in the total amount not to exceed $1,800,000.
So moved by Commissioner Brown.
And seconded by Commissioner Cressy.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
And Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is the professional services agreement with ADP for various human resource services.
I can start with this one, Madam Chair. We see Karen Chin's on the line. Our new HR director can answer questions about the specific services provided by ADP. But essentially what's going on is that ADP handles systems that the board uses for its short-term hires that come on in busy seasons. We had quite a length of time here without any elections, and so the services lapsed because we didn't have elections, we didn't have the temporary staff coming in. So now a new contract is requested. It's got an estimated value of $60,000. Tacking that on as the entire ADP contract as an exhibit to a professional services agreement so that we can put a $100,000 cap on the expenditures just to make sure. But I think the prior practice will show that the ADP's estimate cost is pretty accurate.
Okay. If there are no further comments or questions, is there a motion to approve a professional services agreement with ADP Inc. for human resources tracking, reporting, and payroll services with an estimated annual cost of $61,100, but in no event not exceeding $100,000, and with a term beginning April 12th, 2022 and ending on April 11th, 2023.
So moved by Commissioner Cressy.
Seconded by Commissioner Brown.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. And now we'll proceed to the legal report. Mr. Lasker.
Thank you again, Madam Chair. Looking forward to participating in the podcast with Max this afternoon, getting that recorded. Not every day I get to wear my my radio suit to work, so that's exciting. We're also, of course, in the midst of electoral board. We took care of some cases with subpoena requests last week. Trish and I are keeping a close eye on the cases as they're happening now. I had originally proposed a Friday schedule, but I'm not sure that we'll actually meet an electoral board meeting this week. Not only do we have some holidays this Friday, the start of Passover and then Good Friday, we're also, the very few cases that are ready at this moment are not controversial. We've got a couple more objector withdrawals, a couple candidate withdrawals, and then some records exams that were heavily balanced one way or the other. So we're going to just continue to monitor, and unless something comes up that looks like it's subject to judicial review or might go up on appeal, I think we'll just wait until next week because at this point, there's no urgency on any of the cases. So other than that, we're just working with all the departments to make sure that everything's moving smoothly as we head into the election. There's a lot of work going on with a lot of preparatory work with a lot of the managers and staff. And so we're really kicking into gear in election mode, and it feels good to be back in the swing of things.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have no financial report today. And Trish, is it correct that we have no public comment requests?
That is correct.
Mr. Lasker, is there a need for executive session?
Not today, thank you.
Not today. Okay, well, before I adjourn, I notice I have some managers on WebEx, and I just want to thank all of you. You know, you always come through and you do your work, and you manage your staff, and I want to thank you for that. And you know, let's go get them. Yeah, we have what, 2 months, to a little over 2 months before the election. So thank you in advance for everything you have done and will be doing. And let's have a successful election. Thank you a lot. Thank you so much. And with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Ditto to what the chairman said, and Commissioner Brown motions to adjourn this meeting until the next regular scheduled meeting.
And Commissioner Cressy not only seconds that motion, but seconds to all the wonderful things that the chair just said about our people. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, the motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
We are adjourned until our next regularly scheduled meeting. Everyone have a good rest of the day and rest of the week. Take care.
Thank you, ma'am.
everybody.
Take
Come
care, everybody.
online.